Welcome to Anime Out of Context, a comedy review show where a man completely immersed in anime culture torments his co-host, who is only allowed to watch the shows featured here. If you'd like to support the show, you can do so at patreon.com/animeoutofcontext. Alongside over 100 hours of exclusive bonus material, all episodes uploaded to Patreon are completely ad-free, even to non-patrons. Thank you for listening, and enjoy.
Hello and welcome to Anime Out of Context, the show where I attempt to explain the sometimes weird, sometimes wonderful, but always hilarious world of anime.
And I open up the episode by yawning and then shilling the WNUF Halloween special.
I'm Sean Rollins.
I'm Remington Chase.
Remington! Remington, it's April!
It is. Happy April, Sean. I'm dead.
You've been through a lot the past 2 weeks.
Yes.
You've been through a lot the past 2 weeks, so I figured that this week I would keep it nice, simple, and easy, and let's go ahead and say a little unexpected.
Oh, baby, I love a good unexpected. Which one of us gets to be the April Fool? You know how every April Fool's, you choose one person in the friend group to be the April Fool.
And then you just fucking mercilessly bully them?
Yeah, you bully them, you antagonize them. You beat the crap out of them.
Why do I feel like you've been doing this to me for like the past decade?
Well, you see, you've been given the role of the perpetual fool.
Oh, I see.
Which is a distinguished position, John. So
every friend group I'm in, I am automatically the fool of April.
It's a great honor to have such a valuable role.
Wouldn't that mean that people who are usually depicted, who usually end up as the fool, would want to be friends with me so they no longer have to deal with it?
Yeah.
How many of my friendships are fake, Rem?
Hey, it's not that they're fake, it's just that they have ulterior motives.
I don't think that's much better, Rem. Most ulterior motives with me involved aren't usually very positive, I've come to realize.
What kind of bullshit we got planned for today?
Well, Rem, I found something that I wanted to share with you because, you know, it was kind of cute and kind of amusing, and I figured it'd be a good break for you from all the nonsense, but it really kind of stretches the definition of anime a little bit.
Yeah, fuck you, weebs. Finally, Sean has realized it's come to the light. Anime is bad. We're better off watching other shit.
Okay, let's not get too far, Rem, because I think you're actually familiar with the protagonist of this little series that we're going to be covering today.
Is it Sean Rollins? Am I finally watching the Sean Rollins biopic?
Nobody would watch that. Nobody. There's nothing. Look, I'm not the most boring guy in the world, but nobody's watching any biopic about me. It'll just be a lot of like sad depression stuff, but not like interesting depression. It's just going to be like, man, I wish more people liked me. And then occasionally enjoying a pizza by myself. Like that's not the stuff of
90 minutes where it's just real time 90 minutes of a hidden observing observing you.
Oh God, don't give Dylan ideas. He might do that.
It's avant-garde. I think it could, we could make it to Sundance. All right.
I don't know. There would need to be at least one passionate, like, love-making scene that doesn't really make sense for the rest of the film, but you gotta throw it in there for artistic integrity. And unfortunately, if it's a biopic about me, that's probably not gonna happen.
Hey, I'll make sure that Judy is ready.
Okay. All right. But the reason is, Remington, it is a Japanese series, and it does feature animated characters, but it's a bit of a Roger Rabbit, Rem.
Oh?
As in, like, we're focused on the animated characters, but everything else is just in the real world.
Okay.
Tell me, Rem, are you familiar with Gudetama?
Oh, okay. The egg with the ass.
Yes, the caked up egg.
The caked up egg.
That's his lesser known title. His full title is Gudetama the Lazy Egg.
Yeah, he loves to sleep and have his ass out.
Yeah, he's a Sanrio character.
It's why he's the Sean Rollins mascot. Sean loves to nap. He loves to have his ass out.
God, you can't make that joke because everybody knows I lack any kind of ass.
It's true. He has his hole out.
Okay, listen, I'm not that decrepit, thank you very much. I have some cushion, thank you. It's just people aren't gonna like see me walking away and be like, ah, man, look at him go. They're gonna be like, ah, wonder what's on Twitter. You know, like they're not gonna take the time to make sure that I get to my vehicle. Like they're just gonna be like, ah, it's nice seeing him. All right, let's see what else can I focus on instead, because there's definitely nothing interesting to look at in that direction. No. But no. Did you know, Rem, that on Netflix there is a Gudetama miniseries?
And it has live action elements?
Yeah. The only thing animated is Gudetama and Shakipio, which is his sibling, which is a chick who is still kind of in the bottom half of his eggshell.
What a strange choice.
Happy April, my man.
All right, I mean, hey, it's vaguely cute. All right, and that sounds promising. I'm vaguely familiar. It's just a little cute egg fella.
Yeah, like the series full title is called A Gudetama, an Eggcellent Adventure.
I don't know what to expect because I'm like, I don't know. Doesn't homie just kind of sleep all the time? Like what kind of story?
Well, that's why Shakipio is there.
I see. Yeah,
so like the premise is pretty straightforward, Rem. It's Gudetama and Shakipio. Shakipio is like the ambitious one of the two, essentially. And he wants to see if they can find their mother, their collective mother.
Oh!
So they go on a little cross-country adventure together, with, you know, Shakipio being the motivating force and Gudetama just being Gudetama.
Huh.
Rem, it's April. I wanted something a little weird, something a little off-kilter, and something that doesn't show up on Mal because it's too live action to be considered an anime.
Oh, man.
And, you know, I watched a bit of it and I was like, this is a strange experience. And it's been a while since we've just covered something that was strange, you know? Simple but strange.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, it's an egg that doesn't want to do anything and is forced to do things in real-ass Japan.
It's a curious idea. I'm down for it. I have hopes that maybe, just maybe, we will get the second quality anime of 2025. Thus far, we've entered the 4th month. We've gotten one good thing, and that was Paprika. We're still waiting on number 2.
You're still pessimistic.
Motherfucker, you can't feed me slop and slime and sludge and shit and be like, wow, you just must hate food. It's like, look at the meals you've been giving me!
Oh, God. I mean, you didn't hate Blue Period all that much. You just had heavy criticisms with it.
I would need to look at my notes again.
It was the art one. You just wanted them to actually focus on the art
that one
more.
Frustrated the shit out of me.
Yeah.
That one made me upset.
Oh, God. Well, it's okay, Rem. This is a nice, simple little kid show. Each episode is like 10 to 15 minutes at most. So blitzing through all 10 shouldn't be an issue for you. And one thing I will say, I pulled it up on Netflix. Its rating is TVPG, and the only word they put after to qualify its TV rating is just fear.
Imagine if it was rated R just because Gudetama says fuck twice.
God, I would love that.
Just like it's completely tame and normal, right? But occasionally, Gudetama, like, he's woken up and he's all sleepy and he like rubs his eyes a little bit, looks around, fuck. And then they have to give it an R rating because those are naughty words.
Yeah. He wouldn't do a hard fuck. It would just be a very like a drawn out, like monotone, like fuck. You know? Like, it's not, like, you'll see very quickly that Gudetama, he is not a creature of motion. He's an egg, of course. Barely a creature as is, but he is very much, man, all the energy comes from the things around him. He is an energy vampire of an egg, let me tell you. But hey, maybe this is a cute little way to celebrate the start of April. And, you know, gives you a little bit of a break from the double period of pure suffering you went through.
Yeah. And then, like, I'm going to start watching, and Gudetama is going to start gathering a harem, and I'll be like, what the fuck? No, Gudetama.
This egg fucks. Oh, no.
Oh, no. And then
this
I will understand.
Egg is caked up for a reason.
I will understand fear.
Parental guidance, fear. All right, so I think without further ado, let's just go straight into it. Let's go watch Gudetama, An Eggcellent Adventure. And we are back after watching all 10 episodes of the incredible Netflix, well, it's not really an anime, but yeah, it's April, so it's fine. It doesn't matter. It's got Sanrio characters. We watched Gudetama, An Eggcellent Adventure. And tell me, Rem, is this just a nice, fun, wholesome experience, or does it make you think that the raising of the price of eggs was a fair decision?
Well, first of all, no trans characters, so is it really a celebration of Eggfest?
Well, I mean, you could make some arguments for the chick, because, it's still in its shell.
Yeah, perhaps. There's still time.
There's still time. They're young. We won't know. Gotta give them time.
Yeah. So this was an odd show, Sean.
Yes. Correct. I'm glad you realized.
Not just content, which of course is very strange.
Yes.
But the direction they've decided to go with it.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's kind of like an episodic series.
Kind of.
But it's also kind of like you cut up a movie into a bunch of parts.
Correct.
Somewhat arbitrarily.
Yes.
And I don't think that it completely works structurally with that. And it leads to, like, some moments working, but feeling kind of incohesive. And some moments feeling like they fit, but they're just not that interesting. It's a weird mix. Also, Gudetama is, like, casually fascist, so we'll get to that. That was a wild reveal.
Oh, no.
Yeah, it's a wild reveal, folks. Hey, we'll get there, all right? I was taken aback by it as well, all right? I didn't think that's the direction we were gonna take. In fact, there's a lot of things that aren't the direction I thought we would take. So, the premise of the show, right, is you got Gudetama and the chick, which has a name, but I don't know how to say it, so I'm not gonna. It's just how it goes sometimes, all right? The chick wants to find their mom. Gudetama doesn't really care, but it sure will be along for the ride.
Rem, it's just Shaki Pio. That's not hard.
Sure. I just never wrote it down, all right? I was gonna try. I didn't know where to put the emphasis on. So they decide, all right, need to find our mom, and so they escape the fridge, and they're in this big old kitchen, and it turns out they're in a sushi restaurant, and that's the first episode. The second episode, they're trying to escape the kitchen. Gudetama gets placed on the sushi conveyor belt, chats with some of the various sushi and some pudding a bit later, right? Is put on some noodles before saved by the chick. There's a very strange underlying sense of dread in this scene, and also throughout the entire show, which is a curious thing to put into the Gudetama show.
I don't know, Rem. I think some of the best media from our childhoods was the stuff that traumatized us.
Gudetama's mortality is at the forefront of this entire show, Sean.
Correct.
This whole show is not even really about how we live, but about how we die.
Yes. It's happened. It's a kid's show, though, Rem.
And it's like, oh, you could die brutally in this sushi shop and unceremoniously, but maybe you just want to last a while, but then you'll eventually go rotten. So maybe instead you do want to be eaten, but you want to be eaten right. You want to be eaten as the right meal, right? You want to go out on your own terms. And that is just very weird. It's very weird. Because once again, that permeates the entire show, the whole show. And like, there's a framing of it that could be like, hey, recognize your mortality, but it's all about what you do with the time you have. This isn't really that, because from the get-go, it's like, yes, death is imminent. Yeah. Death is imminent and soon. And so, who cares how you live? The only thing that matters is how you die. What the fuck?
So you're telling me the fear in the age rating was appropriate?
Yeah, it's existential fear, as it turns out, which once again, wildly unexpected. Because like the art and style in the animation, it's super cutesy, right? Mm-hmm. And I think that it is beautiful. And it's very adorable. It's well realized, good shit. But I'm so confused because the script is insane.
Yes.
So let's go to episode 3, all right?
Okay.
Episode 2, we also show that there's a guy who wants to capture Gudetama or something. It's both relevant later on and at the same time never relevant at all.
Correct.
Like, you think maybe it'll be the main antagonist, this guy trying to catch Gudetama. Not really. Doesn't come to much at all. Episode 3, we cut to the Gudetama and the chick are with the Prime Minister of Japan now.
Mm-hmm.
And then we cut to a weird flashback, and it'll do this again, and it's very strange, where they'll cut forward to start an episode and then flash back to the transition on how they got here. But it's never done in an interesting way. Like, it's not an illuminating way to do the structure. It's just an unnecessary jump forward, jump back, forward. That, it could have just been chronological, and it probably just would have been better. I understand that there's utility in a little flash forward, flash back, doing all that kind of thing. That is not found here, and they will do this again. So they end up with the Prime Minister of Japan, and who's things are going pretty rough for the Prime Minister because their approval rating is about to hit an all-time low.
That feels relevant.
Yeah. And so that, obviously, the Prime Minister, their constituents are not happy with them. And at one point, Gudetama becomes the new Prime Minister and then vacates the old Prime Minister. But the reason that Gudetama is, very casually fascist is the message of this episode is he's talking to the Prime Minister and he's like, well, maybe you shouldn't care about what your approval rating is. You shouldn't care what the people want. Just do what you want. And Gudetama, no, that's authoritarian Gudetama. You can't. You can't say down with democracy, Gudetama. You can't do it.
And this, kids, is why apathy is a problem.
Yeah, and once again, that's why I say casually fascist, right? It's very apathetic. It's just like, yeah, man, I don't know, fuck the people, I guess. Like, and it's, don't? No! What the fuck? And that is the point of this episode. I need to emphasize, that's the through line to episode 3. I don't know what the fuck's going on anymore, right? We've introduced a new kind of dread, I guess. Now we have the dread of our impending mortality right here. And now, over our other shoulder, is now the dread of looming fascism and authoritarianism. So now we've just got both to contend with because of Gudetama. And I don't think that I was emotionally prepared for this to be the direction we went. And it's not, look, in these 3 episodes, we haven't gotten a lot of goofs and gags, right? The show is very low energy, but as I've described, it's not a chill show. No. It's a very concerning show. And it feels like, okay, well, that it can be okay if it's punchy and fun and if it has some silly jokes. It doesn't really. It doesn't really. It's low energy, which I understand that's Gudetama's thing, but that should be felt maybe in a chill way and maybe not in trying to do, if it were episodic, that would make more sense, right? If it were just little 3-minute episodes of Gudetama being lazy, that would make sense.
Mm-hmm.
But this has a continuous plot line. It keeps going right there. And so what are we doing? Who decided this was the right vessel for the Gudetama show?
Well, I mean, in fairness, Rem, it's not the first Gudetama show. Like there is like a proper Gudetama anime, right? I say proper. They're 1 minute vignettes, and there's over 1,000 of them.
That makes sense to me. That adds up.
And when I was looking at it, I was like,
that.
how can I spin this into an episode? And then I saw the Netflix one, and I was like, this thing is fucking insane. I need to show Remington.
Like the 1 minute vignettes, that is the that is the correct vessel. A not quite movie cut up into 10 parts with a through line and surprisingly weirdly heavy themes. What the fuck? Why? Why is that? And then here's the thing. All right. Later, the show will delve into sort of like the secret life of food, right? Or specifically eggs, which is kind of fun and quirky and interesting. Why hasn't it been doing that though? Because you want to know what happens in episode 4, Sean?
Oh, I know, but please share. Please share.
Gudetama falls off a building and bungees back up.
Yes.
So that's episode 4 I've just covered.
Yeah.
I need to emphasize, there is nothing else. I need to be super clear. That's it.
Yeah.
And I'm just confused with what they're trying to do with this show, especially now. We finally get to episode 5, and episodes like 5 and then especially like 6 is where the show starts being what I think it should have been all along.
Mm-hmm.
And that's that's meeting other eggs, which we've seen bits and pieces of, right? But always in a very human-like setting.
Yep.
But we start to see eggs just existing, being eggs out in the world. So first we meet this rotten egg, and we get his backstory, and it's realized that Gudetama is starting to rot. And the chick says that we decide our expiration date. Once again, all about how we choose our own death, which also is not quite true. It's not completely accurate. It's not a simple binary choice. But yeah, just a very weird re-emphasizing the dread of everything. Gudetama is now rotting. Oh god, he now has a strict time limit to figure out the best way to die. Otherwise, he will rot. Episode 6, we open up with some dope jazz. We get some mobster eggs, right? We meet a hard-boiled egg, and they need to find a cure for rot, so they go into the secret underground sort of club, right? And it has it's great. It's great. It's dope. All right. It's a speakeasy, but for eggs. And that's a silly concept. It looks great. It's fun. How is it taking over half the show to do this? What the fuck? We've been wasting our time with all this, not just get to silly egg stuff if that's what you want to do. And we could have been doing this the whole time.
Well, you gotta set up the premise a bit more, right?
The premise is we're searching for mom, and that has been established. And then you had fucking every episode has been largely irrelevant to that. Every episode, like the prime minister shit, that didn't contribute anything. Falling off a building, that would do whatever.
If anything, it contributed to the political state of Japan, so that's unfortunate.
The meeting the rotten egg. All right, we've realized Gudetama's rotting. Literally nothing has contributed to trying to find their mom. All right. So if it's like, oh, you really need to build up what the story's about, we haven't done that though. We haven't done that. But once it's episode 6, all right, setting's cool. They need to find the cure for egg rot, and they go, and then oh no, someone steals the stuff, and we don't know what it is yet, but someone has stolen it before our heroes could steal it. And then our heroes get imprisoned, even though they're not responsible. In episode 7, we see that they're trapped, and the boss omelet is threatening them. But then they're very easily freed, and don't worry about that. It just doesn't matter. But then the guy who's trying to capture Gudetama, we see him again. I don't know how he got here, but he's here now. And the stuff was actually stolen by century eggs. And Gudetama thinks, well, maybe I want to be a century egg. You just kind of get a vibe, which makes sense. But he's talked out of it and sort of forcefully taken out of it. They get this stuff that kind of helps the rot. But then Gudetama is captured by the guy. And episode 9 is all about that, but I don't care. I do not give a shit. The guy, him and a girl have Gudetama. She can see Gudetama as Gudetama, but he can't, despite him being the one to notice it earlier, right? And eventually he drafts a script based on a misunderstanding of Gudetama that's just Jimmy Neutron. It's alien eggs. And
oh god, hey Rem, you know, we live in a world where there are probably a lot of kids who have no fucking clue who Jimmy Neutron is.
Well, hey, alien eggs. There you go.
Yep.
Specifically the movie, all right? Not the series. The series, there are some cameos by the alien eggs, but they're not the main thing. Whereas the movie, that's all it's about.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's overall just not super relevant, but they use that to get some assistance in finding the mom, finding the restaurant and the farm that their mom would be at. They show up there. The chef is helpful and is like, oh man, Gudetama, I could cook you exactly the way you want. And Gudetama seems down with it, but he's like, I should probably finish this task with the chick. So they go to the farm, and we get to the final episode. They're at the farm. There's lots of chickens, lots of eggs. Try to find the mom. It's learned that Gudetama and the chick, they're not actually siblings. They came from different chickens, all right? And so Gudetama's able to meet his mom, but oh no, the chick who has been really searching for their mom. That's been their main MO, all right? They're told, hey, your mom is dead, actually. I'm so sorry, but your life's goal, it's meaningless because your mom is dead. Crazy. Crazy. Gudetama's brought to his mom. She's been shipped out, but the chick stops the truck so Gudetama can meet his mom. And with that, Gudetama feels satisfied and feels like he can die in peace. But it needs to be the king of egg dishes, which is egg on rice. And so they put Gudetama on rice and then eat him without. I feel like if you do egg on rice, and I know like personal preference, whatever, but like I feel like you should usually like mix it a little bit, right? But they just like put Gudetama on the rice to then slurp Gudetama off the rice.
Yeah.
And I feel like nothing's happened there. You've not meaningfully changed Gudetama. You have had a raw egg and then separately also had rice.
Well, I mean, I'm sure the rice cooked him a little bit.
Perhaps the tiniest bit. So Gudetama gets eaten. He's dead now. I want to be clear. He's gone. He is eaten. He is dead. He is gone. There's no ambiguity about this.
Yep.
Then they learn, oh, the chick's mom might actually be alive. So go find that. And another egg is born.
Yep.
What the fuck?
Hey, Rem, welcome to the cycle of Gudetama.
Why? Who decided this was the story? Who decided this was the way to go?
Well, I mean, in fairness, Gudetama gets eaten all the time. That is kind of his thing.
But why do they place such an emphasis on
the existentialism of death?
Because it's not like oh, getting eaten again, right? It's not like oh, how silly. It's hey, this is it, bud.
Yep.
Like they really emphasize the finality.
Yep.
So I understand there's plenty of shows, right, and plenty of media that you can have characters be eaten or die or do things where they should die but don't, or any of these various things, right? It's a popular cartoon thing, especially in wacky cartoons. It's a little bit different if you're watching a cartoon and the whole time they're like, man, death is imminent and coming and important and we need to figure this out. We need to put our affairs in order because, you know, you're gonna die. Like that makes it feel a little bit different. That makes it have a bit of a different vibe, is the thing.
Oh, God. Yeah, no, this is
and once again, perhaps it could be different if, frankly, the show was that interested in being funny. The show is charming, right? It's a charming show. It's not really ever a funny show. There's not a lot of genuine humor in the show. In fact, there's not there's not as much levity as you would expect. And so it's I don't know who this is for. This was supposed to be like in my wheelhouse. This is the show for me, Sean. But what the fuck are they doing? What the fuck? Why not just make either a movie or an even shorter absurdist series comparable to what they've already done, right?
Yeah. I've just sent you a playlist. Go ahead and watch a couple of those videos at random, and you'll get the vibe. I was trying to figure out how to turn these into a full episode, and then that's when I stumbled across this Netflix show, and I thought to myself, "This is too insane that I have to share it with you, Remington."
Well, yeah, and the once again the shorts work because it's just like here's short, silly, wacky egg nonsense, right? And it doesn't need to be important or even like tremendous. It's just like, oh yeah, let me get a quick dose of this. How fun, how cute, etc.
But they wanted a full 10-episode Netflix special, Rem.
Why? Why?
I think, Rem, specifically to fuck with you. I feel like that was the main intention. I particularly like this episode of the Gudetama animation. It's just a punk rock guy who likes eggs. It's pretty good. Highly recommend it. It's let's see, episode 35 of the Gudetama animation series. So
And even like within this, you get a punk rocker having sort of like a Scotch egg type deal, right? That's a punk Scotch egg, and that has like personality and it's fun. And we got glimpses of that, but we didn't get enough of that.
Yep, because they turned it into a full live action hybrid animated 10-episode series.
I feel like it's actually the fact that it's half animation, half live action. That in and of itself is not a problem, but it is representative of the flaws of the show in that it is halfway for everything, and that creates a fucking mess. All right? It can't commit to much at all, and you get a less interesting show that's charming, but I'll be honest, like, it gets diminishing returns, especially when you're supposed to vaguely care or be invested in the plot. Which why have a plot they want you to be invested in? Like, that seems like the wrong move, especially because they will then sabotage themselves. They'll be like, hey, this is the point, but also like, who cares? Just don't have a point or care about it.
But Ram, I did this for you as a special treat. This was a special treat for you, Ram.
Look, if you pulled up like the 5 best scenes of this show, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think you're gonna have a good time. You're gonna see some fun stuff.
I mean, yeah.
But why you don't need to watch the whole thing. There's such diminishing returns, and it feels like it's such a waste of your time because each episode, it's a 2-minute episode stretched out into like 12. All right, none of them need to be that long. None of them justify their length. All of them have at least one cute moment, but it's not enough. And also, once again, it's such a show filled with dread and apathy and pessimism and anti-democratic tendencies. I don't know why any of that was necessary.
It's almost like it's a show from one of the big corporate mascot companies in Japan. Who would have thought?
Oh, man.
Oh, God.
And isn't it kind of nightmarish to have like a giant corporation have a mascot that like symbolizes, hey, we all need a break sometime, don't you think? And then you're like, hey, so there won't be any crunch or anything on any of the things you're working on? And they're like, well, now hold on.
Especially in Japan, of all places.
Yeah, it's like, we want to create a relatable mascot, all right? Let's not pretend this is an ethos. This is a cash grab. This is marketing, baby. This isn't a philosophy of life.
Oh, God. Yeah, it's Rem, best part about doing the show is when you give me what I want. And I love that. It's a nice feeling. It's a nice feeling.
I thought you had given me what I wanted, and unfortunately, I was wrong.
It's April Fool's. It's a lovely, lovely little silly treat, just paired with some existential dread.
I just don't know, not why the show was created, but why it was created the way it was created. Just
well,
so
then,
odd.
right? If you're curious, I obviously don't have Mal scores because Mal says this is far too live action to qualify. But I do have Rotten Tomatoes and IMDb. If you had to give a guess on what the critic score for Rotten Tomatoes is based on a percentage, what do you think it would be?
Oh, fuck.
It's a little hard to guess with Rotten Tomatoes because since it's a binary rating.
Yeah, I imagine most will, like, vaguely like it. So, and I also don't know how many people are, like...
watching it?
How many are going out of the way to watch it? So, probably, like, 90%.
Well, let me just tell you this. All of the ratings on Gudetama from critics are in the same 15-day period.
No one's really going back into the archives to...
No. I mean, this originally aired in December of 2022, for frame of reference.
Oh, shit.
But yeah, no. Every critic was like, "Oh, this is great. This is fantastic." Like, there's not a single critic that said a bad thing, and the audience reviews are about 85%, give or take. So
okay, all right. So I feel pretty good about sort of splitting the difference there.
Yeah, but to be a bit more specific, what about IMDb? That's something more in your wheelhouse. Out of 10, what do you think the IMDb folks did? And there's significantly more ratings on IMDb than there is Rotten Tomatoes.
I feel like this isn't a show that people, like, adore, unless they're strictly Gudetama fan girls, right? If you're like, man, Gudetama, I will love everything. So there will be, like, a tiny bit of 10 out of 10s just for that alone. But most people will very vaguely like it or not care about it. Combining all these things, and then IMDb, which, a different calibration here. I don't know, it's the truest, flattest 7 on IMDb. It's just, like, right fucking there.
Well, Rem, with about 1.8 thousand
maybe 7.1, I guess.
Is that your final score?
Sure.
Okay. With 1.8 thousand ratings, the IMDb score for this is 7.2.
Yeah.
Because, 26% of the votes were solid. This is 7 out of 10. And then 16% gave it a 10 out of 10 for whatever reasons. Those are the Gudetama stands, I'm sure. Yep. And then a shocking 42 people or 2% were like, this is the worst thing I've ever seen in my life, and gave it a 1.
Wildly unnecessary.
Yeah,
but also, don't get me wrong, I unfortunately, I don't think it's a very good show. It has its moments, but it's a bit of a mess. It's probably, like, between a 3 and maybe a 3.5, but probably closer to a 3 out of 10 for me. It's just, it has some real nice moments. The highlight reel of it is cute and charming and fun. The actual show, man, it's just not very enjoyable.
Would it make you feel better if the most popular episode was episode 10?
What do you mean?
That one's got a 7.6. All the others are between 6.9 and 7.5. So.
Oh man, yay, death, I guess. I don't know, man. This is wild.
Well, Rem, I have to be honest with you. Part of why I wanted you to watch this as well was because I needed to kind of softly prepare you for next week.
What the fuck does that mean?
Well, Rem, look, grief comes in many forms.
What the
And we
fuck?
all deal with death in different ways. And next week's episode is going to be heavy, so it's going to be hard for us to make goofs about it. So I figured something a little silly to preamble it will.
But this was all about this wasn't light and silly.
No, but it's easing you into it, Rem. It's easing you into it. We're starting off with a nice light helping of death and existentialism.
What the fuck?
So before we get into the really heavy shit.
Oh my god.
and force you to make goofs about it.
Jesus Christ.
Oh god. So I guess the final question I need to ask you, Rem, is there any chance you want to watch any more Gudetama related media?
Here and there, in very bite-sized pieces, I'll enjoy the GIFs, but I don't want to watch something like this again.
Well, hey, Rem, I just gave you a 627 episode playlist of 1 minute Gudetama shorts, so, watch those to your heart content, because believe me, I took way too much time trying to figure out how the fuck to turn that into a full episode. And with that in mind, thank you all so much for tuning in. We really appreciate it. If you enjoy Remington getting just that sweet, sweet dose of unintentional existential dread, then please head on over to wherever you get your podcast and leave us a review. They mean the world to us, and we do read every single one. And if that is still not enough for you, twitch.tv/anime out of context, for myself, Dylan, and Remington occasionally play video games very poorly. And if that is still not enough for you, patreon.com/anime out of context, where you gain access to all kinds of lovely bonus material, including having the opportunity to be thanked live on the podcast. So, Rem, who are we thinking this week?
Well, as always, we would like to send our regards to all of our blind bitch protagonists, as well as our magical girls, who we really appreciate. But moving on, we get to our yandere waifus, who, this week, are pondering death. And on that list, we have, number 1, Cookie Bunny, Peach. Yawn for me, Sean, like a sexy pro podcaster. Yandere Neko, Wolfire56. Why does everything want banana, Sean? Where's our DBC review, you ginger fuck? Westgate not letting Sean gaslight Rem on free rent, damn right.
Okay, stop. He did it to himself, damn it.
Week 6 of using my Patreon name to request code geese. Watching Requiem for Spoonman at 0.5 speed. Totally good. Titan CNH. Thumper Dumper Enthusiast Club. The Susanator. The Pope. The Opie Wrangler, formerly known as Mommy Milkers. The Danish Viking will conquer the world with Renor Zoro as my navigator. That time I reincarnated as podcast host and forced to weeb. That has no place in Fairy Tale's 100 Girlfriends. Turban. Tainted Venom. Super Zoo. Stacy's mom. Sean wants to give Spoonman a thankin' yank. Sean's cucked by Judy while he soaks in the Pope's peach. Sean's little nut that could. Sean's heir apparent. Sean's 100 rental girlfriends who really, really, really want him to cover the Monogatari series. Sean, when are you going to show me Don instead of feeding me sawdust every week? Hashtag One Nut Rollins. Sean ruined my happy sugar life when he had a really sexy time role-playing as Joey Wheeler as the wheel spun. Hashtag Wheelcult 2025. Sean, quit soaking with my grandma, please. Sean bones like a dog, but soaks like a frog. Seraphim the Shark Plushie, Ryan Moody, Ross Palmer, Rhiannon Williams. Rem's titty milk probably tastes like mint chip. Remington is right. Remy Milk, TM, is the quenchiest. Rem used the drums of liberation to free all weeps from bad anime. Rem say a haiku about Sean soaking in Judy. Rem doesn't completely hate my favorite shows. Red Venom, Professor Fox. Pro tips out of context. I won't Google soaking, but did you know, Sean, that the Heretical Bethel Church practices grave soaking? Please watch 86 Good Shit Fam. PJ Turtle. PJSK Addict wonders if Sean even knows what PJSK stands for. Paco El Musico, one of Sean's 10 Polly Bunny waifus. Miss Baggy Pants. Miska is writing the 100 Miskas who really, really, really are just the tip of the iceberg, says Miska. Mikeka 7 Hierto. Macaroni Cheeseha. Lucky Star is the king of Moe. Link Joe Curl. Lidnerd98. King Rich Rock. Cassidy. Jax. Jam Hands. Jake Dent. Implanting Sean's other nut in my own body so I can absorb his weed power. I'm making Rem say ethnic slurs until you bring back the Chef No Musco tier. Sean, see, I feel uncomfortable with this one.
Which means it's probably not kosher.
I'm going to say cracker, but they did modify it a bit.
Oh, I see.
They modified it. See, this one, I would be calling Sean a bigot due to the quantity of a certain letter here. But I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. He keeps his bigotry hidden, all right?
Okay, I not at all. I don't have any bigotry,
on this podcast, you'll never see Sean's bigotry publicized, all right? It's not kosher. It's not good. It's not right. Would you prefer we publicize your bigotry, Sean?
I don't have any bigotry.
So you don't want it to be publicized?
I don't want lies about me to be publicized, Rem, but that seems to be your favorite pastime.
We're on the same page, Sean. We're speaking the same language right now, as far as I'm concerned. I will never get more Ace of the Diamond, now I cry. I did the jump pump for Rem and Sean soaking. Can't believe I made an count for this. Gordon Ramsay's raw sausage. Goon General Sean leads the Bunny Brigade with lotion as their aid nuts bust like a grenade, no AIDS. Glenn Michael Dolan, G-Thing72, Fern the Fern. Farmer Weeb's wheel acolyte recites the ancient text for Rem. The spat on thine wheel, thy wheel spat back on Rem. This phase and then it stops. It cuts off there. Fantide, Erica McCorkle, Danielle Riot, Daddy Rem, tell me a bedtime story about Sean's nut. Caldarius, Cheese Monkey, cat girls are best girls, so give me them cute little paws. Bowler Rat pushed his body way too far. Pushing a 900 kilogram tractor for 1 kilometer through mud uphill might not be good for the body. Rock hard for you, dude. Sean says, oingo, boingo, boingo, oingo, oingo, boingo, boing, boing. Boring siren, blarf. Blackout drunk before butt stuff, says Miska. Bento Kato, amazing muffin. Aisha Gudgy, I'm a piece of trash. 100 Girlfriends is just the Brigham Young story. And now we move on to the Boy Wizard tier. What are they going to get this week, Sean?
Oh, man. They're going to get some egg dishes, baby. I don't know what better time to do than now.
Yeah. On this list we have Umbrasite.
They're going to get Akashiaki.
Truckoon Operator number 42.
They're going to get and if I mispronounce any of these, I'm sorry. A cock.
Oh, all right.
It's a Malaysian egg looks like almost like a pastry dish. It's apparently
Hey,
sweet.
well, don't worry. We're going to keep going with that theme. Titterer wants David to tear open his taint and come deep inside. So...
I am so sorry, Flop
Proud
Boys.
of you, Flop Boys. Hey, no, see, we can't apologize. This is the opposite, right? They should be apologizing to us for once.
That is true. Unless
no, this is all their fault. We are not responsible. Now, maybe it's possible that like somebody who listened to our podcast was a total degenerate, was a degenerate on our Patreon, then has decided to spread their degeneracy over there, in which case maybe you have a case that it is still ultimately our fault, but I'm not going to listen to that.
And hey, who knows? They might not even be a patron of the Shonen Flop podcast.
That would be crazy. If you have, let me be clear, if this is just your patron name, and you're only our patron and not theirs, that's an insane choice. That mouse girl.
Eletria.
Spoonman the aristocrat.
Have Golemono?
Silent secondary.
Bagali Gatok?
Shilling time for Bang Dream. It's my go and Ave Muchika, says Mitsuka, as Mitsuka nods in agreement.
Oh god. You get balut.
Sammy K is all caught up after remembering she's a patron.
Okay, I thought that said bastard, but it's a basted egg.
Roscoe.
You just get a boiled egg.
Power Soul begs Sean to stop soaking in his low bunny. He still has a couple gym badges he needs to earn.
I guess this counts. Carbonara.
Monogatari is everything you ever said you wanted in anime. This week the MC has one bad character trait, but he knows.
A century egg.
Mitsuka wants to know why you played Harikage. Why? Yells Mitsuka as she scolds Rem.
Chatamari.
Mitsuka still wants to know why you played that song. Why did you play Harikage?
Chawanmushi.
Mitsuka is a regulation listener that used to listen to Face Jam, but now listens to 100% Eat, says Mitsuka.
I do not even know how to pronounce that letter, so I'm going to go with the creamed eggs on toast.
Miguel Deleon.
Croque Madame.
I'd like to start a petition to replace the word brat with kudere.
Custard pie.
It's March, time for Bang Dream. It's my go and Ave Muchika, says Mitsuka, who is playing Harikage.
Datemake.
I thought Ocean's Motion was best. Sean showed me.
Deviled eggs.
Hidden Otaku.
Egg bourgie.
Crimson Reapers, just because of the sides.
Egg curry.
Captain Biggleboy wants One Piece on episode 400.
Egg butter.
Harvard 271.
Egg tart.
Beethoven 1201.
Eggs Kedriwal.
Back on that Monogatari grind.
Fios de ovos.
Allfather likes playing with his deck with his boyfriend.
Egg foo young.
And now we move on to the inappropriate Joey Wheeler tier, where Sean will tell you the way you can expect to die, and I'll tell you how an egg is involved.
That's
on
dark.
That list, yeah, it is, isn't it? A surprisingly dark way to end things, isn't it? We got, Sean, I need you to floss my vagina teeth with your tongue.
Yeah, nope, that's still bad the second time.
Have I told you of a nightmare phrase I cooked up?
No.
Vagina dentata root canal.
You have. I think you said it last time at Patreon reads.
Probably if there were vagina teeth relevant. Yeah, it's just fun. Anyway, how are they gonna die, Sean? What's their cause of death?
A gum infection.
Oh god.
Look, man, that's all that's on the mind right now.
And when your dentist tried to help you out, he slipped on an egg, cracked his head open like Humpty Dumpty, and he died, so he couldn't help you. Next we got, I know, it's fucked. Next we got, Sean, trade offer. I receive your hand in marriage, and you receive pleasurable bussy massages at your command.
My Christ. I don't like that. Your cause of death is peacefully in bed.
It's peaceful because you are going to get smothered by a pillow-sized omelet.
Jesus Christ.
I know.
That's an expensive cause.
Yeah,
that's an expensive
that's a lot
weapon.
of egg. It's a lot of egg. Next, we got follow anime out of context on Blue Sky. Hashtag the wheel landed on free rent twice. Oobao. And on Blue Sky, they're defending the sanctity that the wheel did in fact land on free rent twice, and Sean has been lying to you all. So remember that.
You can't blame me for your hubris, Remington.
Remember his lies, ladies and gentlemen, in the court of law.
I just won't give you a reroll next time. They can have their cause of death be, surrounded by those they love.
And it turns out you were the egg, and you were eaten by those you love. A shared meal. Thank you all for doing it. If you want to reach out for a comment, question, feedback, or recommendation, then you can send an email over onto animeoutofcontext@gmail.com.
Once again, guys, thank you all so much for tuning in. We love and appreciate you very, very much. And as always, don't fuck your sister.
Do 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 do. What the fuck, Sean?